guys, the day that everybody has been fearing has finally come to fruition. India is sending troops into Indian administered Kashmir in order to occupy the territory. In 1947, Great Britain decided to end a nearly 1 century-year rule over the Indian subcontinent and its some 390 million people. Now, pause for a second. That's 390 million people across what is today Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and Kashmir. And today, there's more than 1.37 billion people in India alone. So Hindus in the larger pre-British partition India, Hindus were mainly situated in the central and southern regions of India, with Muslims in the northeast and in the Bengal, and in the northwestern region. A British commission divided the territory into majority Muslim Pakistan and majority Hindu India. Now, Pakistan on the west and Pakistan on the east was divided by around about 1700 kilometers between. Pakistan, west and east, celebrated their independence on the 14th of August. India did so the following day on August 15th. And the borders which split India and Pakistan and the Bengal in the east was declared on August 17th. So they kind of went a bit early, but hey, the borders were drawn up by a boundary commission which was led by a British lawyer by the name Cyril Radcliffe. Now, Radcliffe was someone who spent little to no time in India prior to being given the responsibility of dividing this country for the Muslims and for the Hindus. He literally had no idea what he was doing and why he was doing it, and he later even admitting to using out-of-date census and out-of-date maps. Once the lines were drawn, the British left and chaos ensued. 15 million people fled across the borders and over 500,000 people reportedly died. Now that figure of 500,000 and 15 million are, in my opinion, drops in the ocean. The figure was more than likely much larger than that. Knowing how the data is kept in the subcontinent region, not being that accurate or great, that is probably a small fraction of the true numbers. There were 4 regions which saw the worst of the fighting: Sindh, Punjab, Bengal, and Jammu and Kashmir. Now, India was kind of split up by 565 princely states. And of those princely states, only one of the states had a Muslim majority population with a Hindu Maharaja. India claimed that the Maharaja sided with India, which of course Pakistan disputed. So in October of that year, the Pashtuns of the northwest frontier entered Jammu and Kashmir. The Maharaja left the same month and Indian troops were brought in. But unfortunately for them, and unlike the Pashtuns, they were not used to the altitude or the cold weather. Pakistan approached with their own campaign, and India realized that they themselves were becoming weaker in this situation. So they approached the UN Security Council to broker a ceasefire, which went into effect on January 1st, 1949. The deal established a line of control, but no final border. And this is what is known as Article 370. Article 370 allows significant autonomy to the Kashmiri people. And this is at the heart of why the Kashmiris decided to join with India. It allows regional governments to make its own laws, except in finance, defense, foreign affairs, and communication. That means the residents of this state live under different laws to the rest of India in matters such as property ownership and citizenship. Now, this is where it gets quite evil. Article 370 protects the Kashmiri people from being the only people who are allowed to deal with property and land development in Kashmir. Only Kashmiris are allowed to own property and land in Kashmir. This gives them a great right of exclusivity over this land, and they themselves can continue to live in these places where they are from. The reason this is so significant is because now that India has revoked Article 370, so what this means is you can get a load of very wealthy Indians going in and buying the country from the Indian government, who are now going to take over it. They're going to buy it all up and make it a Hindu majority state. What does this mean for the Muslims? It means that they're going to get kicked out of their land, they're going to become refugees, and some are going to be the ones who sell their land to those Indians because that's the best option that they have to get some money and leave. Ultimately, the Indian government wants the Kashmiris, the Muslim Kashmiris, to leave leave Kashmir and go back so that they can take over that land and claim it for themselves. So the options that the Kashmiris have is to be gentrified or to be part of a genocide. This is really scary times for the people in Kashmir. I pray that those people are safe. What's scariest about this all is that the Indian government have cut off communication. They've cut off the internet. There's no way for people to even watch TV to understand what the rest of the world is thinking. So the people that are there are sitting together in their houses, not knowing what to do, not knowing what is going on. They're not able to go about their daily business, their daily lives, because the troops have been taken over. They've put curfews in place. They're not allowing people to communicate. They're not allowing people to stay out in the streets after dark. This has become a total nightmare. Put yourself in that situation. If you are sitting where you're sitting right now, but you're not able to watch this, what you're watching right now, you're not able to watch anything. You can't call anybody. You can't use the internet. You can't turn on the TV. All you can do is talk to the people that are around you and fear that the people who are outside that are carrying guns don't want to harm you, that they don't want to come in and kill you and kick you out of your house or any of those things. There's no way for those people to know what's going on, what their future holds, and there's no way for them to communicate with us on the outside and let us know what the situation is. That's why it's so important that we put pressure on people, that we put pressure on the governments to take action. This comes less than 2 weeks since Trump met with Imran Khan. Now, what's interesting is that Donald Trump had said in that interview, in that meeting with Imran Khan in front of the world's press, that Modi has asked me to mediate with you about Kashmir.
So I was with Prime Minister Modi 2 weeks ago, and we talked about this subject. And he actually said, would you like to be a mediator or arbitrator? I said, where? He said, Kashmir.
Now, this is a clear lie. This is a clear statement that the Indian government was not interested in mediation because they had been preparing this for some time. And what it does show is the true intentions of Imran Khan and Pakistan to become a nation of peace and prosperity and trade. That's ultimately what Pakistan wants. The Indian government seems to be stuck on this Hindu nationalistic outlook on life, and this is why Muslims are getting persecuted in India and now in Kashmir. Modi came up from campaign against Pakistan. His whole rhetoric was anti-Pakistani. That's what he came up with, and that's what the people voted, and that's what they wanted. Now it looks like they are going against Article 370, Article 35A. They're entering Kashmir. So let's see. What will Trump do now? Will Trump go and mediate in Kashmir, in Pakistan, in India? Go somewhere to meet with the two and mediate on the situation? The Kashmiri people want Kashmir to be independent, or they want to be with Pakistan. So I think that's the main thing to focus on here, is the people who actually live there. They actually want independence. As a Pakistani myself, there's no reason for why they shouldn't have their own independence, their own government, and their own way of life and living without Pakistan or India interfering in the situation, unless they choose India or unless they choose Pakistan. But by the looks of it, they do not want India. If they wanted India, India would not need to send in 700,000 troops to this situation. So keep watching. We're going to be making some more videos. We're going to be keeping up to date with what's happening now. Some more videos on Imran Khan and translating the work that he's been doing in Parliament and giving that to you guys so that you guys can understand really what's going on in this situation, what Imran Khan is doing about it, and hopefully we can come to a peaceful resolution. I pray and I hope the people of Kashmir are not hurt in this situation. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you like and you subscribe and you keep watching the next videos that are coming out. Please keep the Kashmiri people in your prayers, and see you later.